You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Saturday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Looking at what is going on today, finally some green, but as to be expected after we did have that little bit of a pullback yesterday, right? Bitcoin was down about 5% on the day. Currently, we are up 0.71% since yesterday. Now, it's very kind of exciting right now because, as you can see, we've basically just been consolidating, and what we've been doing is essentially putting in higher lows, okay, and lower highs. And right now, Bitcoin is really just at the very end right now. So we actually could be looking for a bit of a move even by the time you're watching this video, which is why I was a little bit apprehensive to make the video right now rather than wait for this move to play out. But today is a special day. It is my mother's 50th birthday, so I do have to spend time with the family today. So that being said, I am going to get this video out in a relatively quick fashion. We'll try to keep it a little bit short today, but I do also have some other very interesting things we're going to talk about, not just the short-term price action, which I do believe is going to have probably a move by the end of today, and you'll definitely know what that is by then. And the other things I wanted to talk about too is we actually finally have our first central bank digital currency that finally got issued. We're going to talk about that, along with the fact that now that Bitcoin has taken this little pullback, the bears are back out. We're having these crazy Bitcoin predictions as well, but I am going to show you once again that the institutions are buying, and in fact, a lot of them are currently long right now. Now, if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day on weekdays, bear, bull, weekends, even on my own mother's birthday. And you guys know we do give away Ledger Nano S's every single Monday, which you can drop a comment on any video throughout the course of the week, and you are eligible. Now, currently, Bitcoin dominance sitting around 66.4%. We do have some altcoins up. We have DX Chain token up yet again, Golem, Komodo, Augur, Chili, Centrality, ABBC, Carat Gold Coin, what is that? Chainlink, Hedge Trade, and Maker all doing quite well today. Volume is still relatively low. This is to be expected for the weekend, and also when we're looking to kind of have that big move, which, like I said, we could be looking for a bit of a bounce or even a dump, right, within the next, like I said, it could be by the end of the day today. Now, the interesting thing this morning was the shorts were actually over 50% when I woke up, and just before I started making the video, all of a sudden the longs are now up 51%. So the market got sort of short-term bullish out of nowhere, really within just the past few hours of me waking up. So maybe that could, signal that Bitcoin is looking to put in some maybe get back above the 200 daily moving average. We will have to keep our eyes on it because you could see essentially what was happening was we were getting sandwiched between the 200 and the 100. Bitcoin really didn't have anywhere else to go, and it broke to the downside. Unfortunately, we were not able to get supported by the 21 exponential on the weekly, but on the bright side, we did fill the CME futures gap, and this time we definitely filled it with an absolute solid candle close at $8,845. Currently, that is where the CME price ended, okay? So keep in mind, if Bitcoin actually pumps back up over 9,000, well, we're going to have yet another gap again. I know, right? Aren't you just sick of these gaps by now? But having a look, essentially, just really looking at this chart as simple as we possibly can, if we just go from the top wick to here, you notice that we were hitting some heavy resistance. We tried to break above it 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally on day number 5, Bitcoin just was exhausted and we dumped. And currently we are trading sort of between this red zone right here with the floor being around that 8.7, 8,735. And currently we need to get sort of back above that $9,000 level, which was the previous support, is now acting as our resistance. But of course, guys like Peter Schiff, they had to take this opportunity. It looks like Bitcoin, the pump is finally over. Get ready for the dump. And I actually like what Kevin Svensson said. He said, Peter, you've been wrong about the stock market for the last decade, and you're also wrong about Bitcoin, okay? This type of price action is exactly what happens during every halving period, which there is that consolidation phase, right? Learn how to analyze charts. The truth is Bitcoin is hurting your gold business. Now, actually, there's a chart. I don't have it up right now. Let me know if you guys could find it. It's on Twitter, and it basically says that if you pretty much do the opposite of everything that Peter Schiff has said, it would be a great time to buy. Like, for example, when he said the other day that Bitcoin was going to dump to $2,000, that's literally when Bitcoin had the insane pump on October 25th. So imagine had you shorted or, not bought Bitcoin, based on what this guy had to say. And now everyone's talking about this one again. Now, this came out November 21st of 2013. He said, thinking of buying Bitcoin instead of precious metals? Think again. Peter Schiff explains why in an exclusive video. And I love what BitLord says. What a hero. Bitcoin was $300. This Muppet has been screaming doom all the way up for 7 years now. Yeah, okay, but, and the funny thing is he won't talk about the fact that, gold has been having a slight decline lately, right? But we're not going to talk about that. Let's just only bash Bitcoin. But here's the reality right now. You can see currently we are actually trying to break out of this basically smaller triangle that we're at. The top of it is sitting at around this sort of $8,879 level. Now you can see we are trying to break out of it right now. If we don't, well, then you are looking for some more consolidation. But this thing wants to have a move by today. Whether it'll be as big as the move that we just had, it might not be a 5-10% move, but we do look like we want to break out pretty much. I'm thinking by the end of today, guys, there should be some kind of a move. Now, there was some conspiracies, okay, as to why the Bitcoin price dumped. They say over the past 7 days, BitMEX saw an inflow of around $92 million, with about 89 of that being basically 89 million worth of outflows, which means that the exchange is on the positive, okay? Now, the reason they're saying this is they say that the surge in inflows coincides with serious movements in Bitcoin's price. However, this isn't the first time that they had this correlation. And you could actually see token analysts, they do these all the time over on Twitter. But for example, a month ago, they say that Bitcoin's price dropped from 8.8 to 8.3 in just a matter of hours, while BitMEX noted another serious cash inflow of 26 million. Now, this could just be coincidence. This doesn't have to actually mean anything, but it's kind of interesting. It's sort of like, the last Friday of the month with the CME futures always has a sell-off, right? So you do see a lot of these weird things kind of play out over and over again in the space. So what I was saying when we first started essentially was that we basically were trapped between this, the obviously 200 daily moving average, which we are now below, and the 100. Now, I just want to go back in time and point something out. Now, over here, we actually did have a golden cross, okay? We had the 100 crossing over the 200. Now, you might be saying to yourself, oh no, it looks like they're trying to put in a potential death cross. But let me actually show you something. If we go back in the history and actually look at this moving average, you'll notice that they really do not ever cross. In fact, all they do is get very, very, very close, okay? And then they sort of expand apart again. And having a look at, historically, whenever these bands get really close, look, here they're really close, Bitcoin has a massive pump. Here they start getting close, Bitcoin has another pump. They don't really ever get close here, which is why Bitcoin basically just went on a tear, okay? And then we got into the bear, and ever since we had this, look, these are trying to get close again. Okay. And every other time that they start to get close, that they don't cross, Bitcoin tends to have a pretty massive, massive pump. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to have an instant pump. Okay. We did just take a dip. We might have to go sideways for a little bit, but I just wanted to point that out moving forward. Now, I did want to point out over on Cointelegraph, they were talking about like an inverted Adam and Eve pattern, kind of like the opposite of what we saw after the November crash. Now, I'm not saying this isn't possible, because it certainly does look like it. You can't deny you have the V and you have the, U shape. You can see the V and the U shape. But the reality is, they're talking about a measured move going all the way basically down to the low 8,000s. Now, while I do think that there's a possibility, you could see actually right here, we could come down to about $8,072 because we have this previous resistance coming down here. And then we have this support from back here sort of meeting right there. So it is possible that you could see that. However, I don't necessarily think that's likely, considering the fact that we have had a nice support at that 8.7 level right here. So really what we're doing is just bouncing around in this region. And another reason too is, even if you just want to look at the Fibonacci levels, the 0.618 level is a very, very common level for Bitcoin to fall to. And even that's sitting at 8,472, so that would be down here. So to go all the way down to this $8,000 level that, you would be looking for this measured move off of the Adam and Eve top, it seems a little extreme to me, going to be honest with you, especially when we had this massive pump. And not to mention, if I do actually add in the volume, What am I doing right here, guys? Sorry about that. If I do actually add in the volume, I mean, you can't deny the volume that came in with that move. I mean, that was clearly the bulls rushing back in and defending. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Now, you may also consider the fact that this could just still be a giant bull flag. Possible. Like I said, it would be the biggest flag I've ever seen in my life. But having a look right here, above me, we do have the VPVR, and I do believe that a reason why we fell, from that area was because we really didn't have much trading going on, and you could see we were supported exactly by the bottom, which actually, according to this, is sitting at around 8,676. Now, if we were to fall, unfortunately, the next level of support is around the 8.3K level, and then after that, well, now you are looking at 8,000, but let's take this one step at a time. Clearly, we have had support here, so currently, we are just essentially looking to get back above that $9,000 level short term. But the other thing I wanted to point out super quick, even if we do pump, okay, if you want to look at the bullish case and we actually pump from here, we have this massive resistance right here, this green line. And even if we were to pump straight up today, we would actually hit that resistance at around $9,378, okay? But here's something interesting. Let me know what you think about this. Let's have some fun with fractals. Everybody loves fractals, right? So basically, it kind of seems like what Bitcoin is doing is putting in the same pattern over and over and over again, but just on a shorter and smaller time frame. Basically, we put in a descending wedge, we dump, we consolidate, and then we have a massive blast off. And we literally just keep doing the same thing and the same thing over and over again. However, each time we're not actually able to get above the previous high. Whereas here, we had almost 20K. Here we had almost 14K. And then this top went to about 10 this time. So you can see we have a triangle, okay? Then we dump, then we have the pump. Then we put in the next triangle, then we have a dump, then we have a pump. And we've just put in another triangle and we had a dump. And the question is, are we now looking for a pump that will not go as high as 10K, but might put us somewhere in this region? You let me know what you think about that, but it does seem like that is the pattern. So obviously having a look right here, guys, you can see we are really just getting stomped out by this resistance. We tried to break above it right here. You can see we got stomped out. So, I mean, short term, you really want to get above this candle right here, which is $8,891. If we do get above that short term, this is super low time frame, well, then I do think Bitcoin will continue to, go upwards. But if we're not able to do that and we get rejected, well, then we might be looking for some lower lows, meaning we could go below that $8,600 level. So this is over on Bybit, guys. If you are trading, definitely be safe out there. I do have a tutorial above if you haven't checked it out, and links below as well. But good news, yesterday, Bakkt put in another incredible day, 1,660. Now, this is what I have over on my chart over, or my page over here. If I give it a refresh, that's what it's saying. However, over here, Bakkt Volume Bot says 1,741 Bitcoin. Now stick with me. This is pretty damn cool. I really, really like what Hambino said over here. So, all right. So 1,741 Bitcoin was the daily volume. Now check this out. How cool is this? 1,800 Bitcoin are mined every day. This one futures exchange in its infancy, operated for less than 2 months, has consumed the daily mine supply. With the halving coming up, supply going down, and demand going up, we will moon over the next 365 to 500 days. So, and don't listen to what this person's saying. It's not 18,000. It's 1,800. It's simple math, guys. 12.5 per every block, roughly, 6 blocks per hour, 75 Bitcoin per hour, 75 times 24 hours is, yeah, right? Okay, so yes. But the thing is if you think about that being basically gobbled up and the halving is going to cut the supply in half, well, then there won't be enough supply for the demand, which is one of the biggest factors behind Bitcoin, right? And here's something else I wanted to point out. Bakkt's relatively high volume have come as institutions started building long positions, okay? So institutions are actually betting long right now that they do think the price is going to go up. Skew Markets actually showed that institutional longs on the CME Bitcoin futures has hit a 1-month high, reaching around 1,300 Bitcoin worth of contracts. In fact, if you guys didn't see the chart yesterday, you could just look at it right here. I will drop that below if you're interested. But essentially, This is up by over 5 times from the bottom near about 250 Bitcoin seen in late September. They also added that institutions are now net long 880 Bitcoin contracts compared to 660 the previous week, as short positions have fallen because institutions are likely expecting a breakout in the upward direction, right? So if you guys want, I will drop this data below, but we finally have it. It wasn't even China, actually, that did it. We have TASS, the agency, reported that the Central Bank of Tunisia is to be the first to release their digital currency. The e-dinar was officially launched in test form at the Forex Club of Tunisia with a symbolic transfer of 1 dinar between the head of the central bank and a representative of the IMF. So they are officially the first country to issue a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC. You're probably going to be hearing that term a lot, so get used to it. E-dinars are now available to transfer between citizens, with shops, cafes, and restaurants slated to accept the currency in several months. The central bank plans also to use it in cross-border payments, and here's the kicker: circumventing the need for the US dollar. So as these guys start to make their own digital currencies and send them on the blockchain, basically, you're not going to need the US dollar anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I think you guys know where that ends, but buy Bitcoin. That is basically where that ends. Also, I'm not going to play this because this is from Heidi over at Crypto Tips, but you guys have to watch this. She actually filmed, it was Craig Wright, and Richard Hart basically calls him out. You can see right here. Yeah, you got to check this out for yourself. I'm not even going to play it. Go check out Heidi's video. Give her the credit. She's the one that filmed it. I'm actually going to give this a like, and I will drop this below. But yeah, Richard Hart basically owns Craig Wright, and yeah, it's pretty funny, so you guys have to see that. And also, one other video that I am not going to play, but I do want to post here, is pretty much from Altcoin Daily, and this is Stephen Colbert, and he essentially says, what could be worse, and basically he mentions, actually, maybe I'll play it real quick. Hold on.
Go on.
Wait, hold on.
Of gin, and in conversation with someone who knows a lot about Bitcoin.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to play. I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike because, these types of clips will do that to my channel. But go check that out, guys. Having a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now. Man, this is like the ultimate consolidation. I'm actually on the edge of my seat right now. I want to know what we're going to do when we break out of this little tight range. Clearly, we've only been doing this for a day. There's really not enough data to have enough, I'm looking at the shorter, smaller time frames here. I mean, we haven't even put in a full daily candle yet. So we'll know what's going on with that at the end of the day. But this little tiny move right here is going to have some kind of a breakout or breakdown, and that will happen by the end of today. And you will probably know that maybe by the time you even see this video. So that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock.